A terrifying giant stood on the battlefield, over 9 feet tall. His armor weighed more than most men. His voice thundered across the valley. For 40 days, no soldier dared to fight him. But then, a young shepherd boy stepped forward. And what happened next would become one of the most famous battles in history. Long ago, 2 powerful armies stood facing each other in a valley. On one side were the Israelites. On the other side were their enemies, the Philistines. Every morning and every evening, a massive warrior named Goliath stepped onto the battlefield. He was enormous, towering over everyone. His armor gleamed in the sun, and his spear was as thick as a weaver's beam. Goliath shouted across the valley, challenging the Israelites to send one man to fight him. If that man defeated him, the Philistines would serve Israel. But if Goliath won, Israel would become their servants. The soldiers were terrified, and no one stepped forward. Far away from the battlefield, a young shepherd named David was watching his father's sheep. David wasn't a soldier. He was just a boy. One day, his father sent him to deliver food to his older brothers who were fighting in the army. When David arrived at the battlefield, he heard the giant shouting across the valley. Goliath was mocking Israel and insulting their God.
David could not understand why no one was fighting him. The soldiers told David that the giant had been a warrior since his youth, but David was not afraid. He explained that while protecting his father's sheep, he had fought off lions and bears, and he believed that the same God who protected him then would protect him again. Soon, word reached King Saul, and David was brought before the king. Saul looked at the young shepherd and doubted that he could defeat such a giant. But David remained confident. He trusted that God would give him victory. The king gave David his own armor to wear, but it was too heavy and too big. So David removed the armor. Instead, he picked up his shepherd's staff. Then he went to a nearby stream and chose 5 smooth stones. With a sling in his hand and stones in his pouch, David walked toward the giant. When Goliath saw David approaching, he laughed loudly. The giant mocked the young boy and threatened him. But David stood firm. He declared that the battle belonged to the Lord. As the giant moved closer, David ran toward him. Quickly, David placed a stone in his sling and swung it with great speed. Then he released it. The stone flew through the air and struck the giant directly in the forehead. Goliath staggered and then fell to the ground. The battlefield went silent. The giant who had terrified the army had been defeated, and he was defeated by a shepherd boy. The Philistine army panicked and ran away. The Israelites celebrated their victory. That day, David became a hero, and everyone learned a powerful lesson. Sometimes the greatest victories come from the most unexpected people. Even the biggest giants can fall when courage and faith stand strong.